Today we're going to learn about dragonflies and tules, both really, really ancient things on our planet. So while I wanted to be able to share a few things with you, first let's take a look at some pictures of dragonflies here. Now, I want you to see how filmy their wings are. They come in lots of different colors, which is pretty amazing. They have different parts, their head, their thorax, and their abdomen, and 4 wings. They have 4 wings there. And so I just wanted to show you. Here's this legs. Of course, it's an insect that has 6 legs, but this one's kind of yellow colored, right? And this one's kind of pink with kind of salmon or orangey kind of wings. And this one here has got kind of bluish wings and an orange body, abdomen. It's like amazing, all the colors, and look at the filmy wings here. So I did want you to see that. And then the other part, if I can get this up, I would like you to see this show here about dragonflies, just a tiny bit, just to see what it looks like and where they belong, where you'll find them. And look at those beautiful close-ups. Oh my gosh. And the wings. Look at this. Oh my goodness. That's the end of its abdomen. And look at those lacy wings. Eyeballs. There. And I know you've seen these.
Dragonflies are undoubtedly one of the natural world's design classics. With a superbly adapted body plan and behavioural repertoire that has stood the test of time. The earliest fossil specimens date back 300 million years, and in their form are virtually indistinguishable from their modern-day counterparts.
Oh, good. We did this. I've got it to go. I just wanted you to have a little taste of where we're going here. So here we are. Here's our dragonfly. We're going to move that over here. And what we're going to need for today's drawing will be a pencil, an eraser. If you have a Sharpie, that would be awesome. I'm going to be using some watercolored pencils, but you could use just regular colored pencils, I'm sure you have those, or crayons, watercolors. You could use almost anything, but we are going to start with just a pencil, okay? And you're going to start with this. Oh, one more thing. Yes, I forgot. And if you have some chalk, like for sidewalk art, or just plain chalk, pastels, we could use some of those. And I was using orange, pink, and yellow. It'd be for the sky. Now, that would be up to you what you might want. So I'm going to be using a charcoal pencil. And so one of the things I like to do when I start is just get a feeling for the center of my piece right here. It's just the center. And then after we do that, we're going to just right along here. Hello, Tule. We'll introduce you to the tules in a little bit here. There. We're actually going to do a pretty long line here. Just a pretty long line. Like, see how long that line is? It's not to the end. It's not quite the center. I kind of like things not quite in the center. Okay. And then way up here, see, here's here to here like this. Way up here, we're going to draw a super long line, and it's going to go off the edge of the page. It has to be longer than this here. In fact, there we go. I'm going to try to make that a little longer, because this will be the body here, and these are the wings, which are hugely big. It's okay if it goes off the page. It's totally okay. So here's the next thing that we'll be doing is, here would be the thorax here. The thorax here. And then here is its little head. Hi, head. You are a good head. There we go. Just like that. Now, here's this line. This line is going to help us with the wings. Okay, so the wings will be, they're very long. And we're going to start right about here. And we're going to go, whoa, like that. And come back over here like that. And there's 2 wings on each side. So here's another one going way out over here like that, and then coming back over here. There we go. This one, the wing will actually actually come off the page, so don't even worry about it. Look, it's off. It's off and coming back on. Here we are. Okay, and the second one, same thing, off the page. Now, maybe your page is bigger, but the idea is that it's okay, one, to go off the page. Two, to show how really, truly large these animals, these creatures are. And so the other part we're going to do here is we're just going to come down here, and this is the abdomen, like this here, and it's, well, round. There we go. And the abdomen is divided into roughly 8 parts. So we're going to go woo, 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 like that. Yes, 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 yes. And here's the cool part. Oh, I didn't show you this. Oh my gosh, I have to show you this. Look at this. Are you ready for this? This is like alien creatures. This is the eyeballs. This is the head. This is the head. And that's, you can see here's the legs, but look, those are the eyes. Isn't that amazing? Those are the eyes. They're right next to each other, literally. They have the most amazing eyesight of just about anything on Earth, really. And look, here's how big they are. They're really big. Big eyes. Big eyes, just like that. Wow. Now, the other part that's really interesting about this is the delicacy of the wings. So when we look at these creatures, we look at how delicate their wings look here. So we're actually, this is looking at it from below, and we're having ours going to be flying, and so we're not going to really see the legs, but I do want you to look at how delicate these wings are. So I'm going to put these, a couple of lines over here. You can do no wrong when it comes to doing this. I'm just going to say everything the wings are just beautiful. Think lace. Think lace. A couple here, a couple here, a couple here. Here we go, like that. Here we go. Yeah. And then a couple that might go like that. Right? Might go like this. There, and even down in here. There's a lot of helping lines in this picture. Don't worry about it. They're going to go away, okay? There. And so the next thing I'm going to do is right up in here, I'm just going to see, just kind of, here it is. Let's look at this again one more time. Look, you can see this one here. See, it's almost like it's got little squares, but I'm just going to do little lines across it here like this. Like that. Yeah. And that just shows, and you can, the wings are transparent or translucent. You can see through them. Light definitely goes through them. They're so interesting. So I got to create a pattern in here for each of these segments that we created with the lines, right? And I mean, it can be, you could spend hours on each wing, but I think what I'm going to do is just do a few lines in here, just so you can see that it has a pattern of sorts here, and it's quite a quite complicated pattern. If you want to spend a lot of time on it, you absolutely can. So they have huge wings. They can fly between 20 and 30 miles an hour. They can go backwards, forwards. They can do more maneuvers than almost anything. That includes hummingbirds. They can outmaneuver a hummingbird. They can outmaneuver helicopters. I mean, there's no comparison by their ability to change directions, go up, down. And that's what the 4 wings helps them do that, and they have huge muscles. So I would like to introduce you to Tules. Tules grow in the wetlands, which is where dragonflies like to be. They're ancient. Just like dragonflies, maybe not quite as old. Dragonflies were here before the dinosaurs. And one of the unique things about Tules, among many things, is that they're hollow. I don't know if you can see that, but they're hollow. They're hollow in here. And Native Americans used to bind the Tules together into big boats. A few people could sit in the boats because they're hollow and it holds air, and it would just float. It would just float. In addition to that, They would also use the tules for making mats, of course, and baskets. They're covering their houses. They use tules for even clothing, shoes, and things to wear. So I wanted to give you a close look up here. This is a tule plant. It's in the wetlands. It's in the wetlands. It kind of looks like it has tassels on the top. There. And it likes to have its feet wet. So when we draw these tules, I'll put this, hello Tule, you are the good Tule. I'm gonna put this over here. And what we're going to do is we're gonna draw them in different, some of it is leaves, like here. I just want you to see. Just plain leaves with a point. So this time of the year though, this spring, and I saw a lot of dragonflies today. I couldn't believe it. They are right out there being active. So let's make a leaf here. And then let's do one over here where we would have the flowers on them. And here, I don't know if you can see that, but they're like little tiny, almost like, little strings with little pom-poms or little tassels on them. So I'm doing that like that. There we go. The little round seeds. There. And so this is a plant. Other thing, ducks love it. Oh, let's get two sides here. Two sides. Ducks love it. They like to play hide and seek in it. It's a camouflage thing. Animals like to have their nests in it. So here, let's do another big one over here. I mean, you can place these anywhere. We just do want to make sure. Tules will indicate that there's water here. It's a wetland. There's some or river or creek or some kind of wet area. This is where tules have to live with their feet wet. Okay. So here I'm doing a little overlap here. I'm not going on top of the dragonfly, and then I'm just doing a few in different directions. And I just want you to see just how beautiful the tules are. There, and the dragonfly will get on top of a tall plant like a tule or a cattail and look out and look for bugs. So one of the things we're going to do now is we're going to take your Sharpie, ta-da, and oh, that's not a Sharpie. Oh, here, Sharpie, ta-da, or a black pencil, yes, or a black pencil if you don't have a Sharpie. Or just your regular pencil and outline. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the thorax, which is here, the big eyes, and then this is kind of the mouth area there, thorax, these big, beautiful wings. Right now, I'm just going to go on the outside. Okay, just the outside, and I'll do the design afterwards, okay? So here it is here, and here's the abdomen here. I kind of like to make sure each section is separate, and so I kind of treat them like they're separate, which they actually are separate. Okay, gonna come up here for the wing and the other wing on the other side. Hello, you beautiful wings. Over here and over here. And I'm actually even going to do the tules now. Yeah. Tules and many things in the wetlands, cattails, many things that live in the wetland, they provide shelter, food, resources of all kinds for creatures, even and people. They provide shade for baby fish and creatures that are trying to have camouflage. When the dragonflies spent most of their lives in the water, years. So right now, when you see a dragonfly like this, it might only live a few weeks or months, and it's actually getting ready to lay eggs in the water, and the eggs hatch and they become nymphs. And they're creatures that literally live in the water. They kind of look like dragonflies without the big wings. And they live in the water and they catch things. They're ferocious predators. They're carnivorous. They eat bugs and even small fish. They'll eat all kinds of things that are there. Later on, I'm going to show you a picture They kind of look like aliens. They're wild. So a dragonfly spends most of its life in the water as a nymph. And when you do see them, and you're fortunate to see them, because they don't spend very much time on land where you can see them, but they are beautiful when you do see them. Most of us, when we look at the nymphs, we think they're a little creepy because of how they're built, and they're built to learn how to capture food well, which they do, because dragonflies are everywhere on Earth, just about. Maybe there's a few places that are like super frozen over all the time and they don't live there. But you'd be surprised where they live. Even in some deserts, they live even in some deserts. It's wild. Anyway, so that's the story of dragonflies. And what I'm trying to do here, or that's one of the stories, many stories about dragonflies. We're just going to finish this up. And when we come back, I'm going to be doing a blue dragonfly, but you can think about all the possible color variations, because it's almost every color. It's amazing how beautiful they look. There we go. There's that. Now the next thing I want you to do is, your next step is to simply erase. I want you to erase, and I'm going to have greater difficulty erasing. Now you know what? They actually do have antennae, but they're incredibly tiny. So I'll give it a tiny antenna. They're incredibly tiny, and you're not going to believe this, but there's little kind of hooks back here. Just saying, they have it. That's what they have. That's what they have. And I'm going to show you what their mouth looks like later on. It's wild. Very, very wild. But in the meanwhile, what we want to have you do is just simply erase some of this, especially your dragonfly. Now, mine, because I use charcoal, it's a little bit more difficult, but, oh, and I see I didn't do both sides to this, so let's see if I can get, I like two sides when I'm drawing, because I actually want to put color in here, because because it's part of how it looks, but sometimes I forget. There we go. Good. So right now, this is what we can do now. Clean that up, and I'm going to come back and we're going to watch a quickie video about the nymphs, which are wild alien-looking things. Very wild. Okay, so erase as well as you can anyway. And I will be back shortly with this cool video for you. Okay? Okay, I want to show you a video. Here we go.
Superbly adapted to exploit the
This
abundance
is
of
the
food available
nymphs
in freshwater ecosystems.
in the water.
Several species often share the same habitat and have adopted a range of strategies enabling them to coexist. Many of the larger hawker nymphs are active predators, openly moving through the aquatic vegetation stalking prey, whereas chaser nymphs have specialised as ambush predators, burying themselves in the sediment and waiting for prey to come to them. The smaller and more vulnerable damselfly nymphs rely on concealment, for much of the time remaining sedentary and coloured to merge with the surrounding vegetation. Although their lifestyles may vary, all nymphs come equipped to hunt, with large compound eyes and an extendable lower jaw that they can project out like a hydraulic ram. They're a formidable predator.
Isn't that wild? Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I just wanted you to see how amazing those creatures are. Yeah. Okay, that was good. Let's stop there. And now what I want to do is let's get to coloring. Okay, I just wanted you to see how interesting those creatures were. So I'm going to be doing a blue dragonfly. Okay, so I've got some blue pencils here, and you could do any colors that you might want. Okay, there. Wow, all right. There we go. Even the eyeballs, but you know what? I have a couple of colors. This is kingfisher blue. because kingfisher birds, they have some beautiful colors on them. That blue is very rich. So they named a whole color after a bird, which is kind of fun. It must be fun to name colors. I think that's a job. You get hired to name colors. Isn't that kind of fun? Now, I'm actually also going to include a little bit of green, because did you notice that these are iridescent? You see a lot of different colors in them. So I'm not putting a lot of color in the wings, but a little bit, yes. A little bit for sure, I am. Okay, and again, I am doing mostly blue for the wings, but sometimes they can be oranges and pinks and golds and browns. They're just amazing. So for such an old creature, I mean, they've been here like before dinosaurs. You know, I just find them so interesting. People throughout history have considered these really almost like magical. They attribute certain qualities that people respect, they value to dragonflies. Good fortune, good luck, strength. The fact that they can change is a really important idea, that they can change. Kind of like a butterfly. It's not quite as dramatic as the butterfly, but it obviously is, because I spent most of their life where you don't even see them. So when you do see them, it's pretty amazing. So now I'm going to be doing some of the Tules, and they're sort of greenish leaves, or they're more dark green, but we're going to start with this, right? Good. Yeah, good. So a lot of people identify with animals and creatures. I mean, in special ways. They represent how they live in special ways. The fact that a dragonfly changes from water to land, and it changes how it looks. It literally molts. It climbs up to the top of a stalk or a reed or something in the water, Thule, and it literally, its old body, its old shell, it leaves on there, and it crawls out, kind of like a butterfly does that, right? Right. So what this it means, transitions and changes, and people respect that, and people go through transitions and changes, and this is part of life, and so that's why they identify with so strongly with dragonflies. And of course, when we see them, the few months, or that they're out there in the world, they're quite beautiful. They're so beautiful. Now the next thing I want you to do, I want you to get some chalk if you have it. What I'm going to suggest is, well, what I do is I get like a piece of a paper towel or tissue paper or something like that, and I make it into kind of a finger like that, and I'm going to put a little orange in. And the reason I'm choosing the orange is because it's opposite the blue, right? So, but if you chose to do kind of a pink or a orangey colored dragonfly, you might want to do a blue sky. You could do a blue sky now if you wanted to too. It'll be a different medium. I mean, and when you change mediums, I'm going to use a little yellow too. I love how you mix the orange and the yellows together. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. So I use a snubby, what I call a snubby, so that the sky is kind of smooth. I just want to see the sky. I don't want to see lines, and I don't put too much chalk in my picture when I use a snubby like this, and that way it just looks like the sky and not a bunch of lines or to the color. Because I want to look at the dragonfly. I'm less interested in exactly how the sky looks than I am in the fact that this is an awesome dragonfly. And this is a smidgen of pink that I might put here and there. Just here and there, here and there, here and there. There we go. Here and there. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Now, the next thing I'm going to have is I'm using watercolored pencils. If you're not using watercolor pencil, and I'm going to apply water, if you're not doing that, just add more color with your crayons or your colored pencils. So if you don't have watercolored pencils, that's okay. Add more color with what you got. And I'm just going to add the color to the watercolored pencils. If you just have watercolor, which is also awesome, you can just add more color or just wait for me to catch up with you. There we go. Yeah. So it's so interesting that dragonflies and tules are in the same area. Not a surprise because they love the wetlands. But tules are the plants that they just stay put, and they just wait for somebody to come along and spread their little seeds. And dragonflies land on them, and sometimes the seeds fly off, and they use them for a high perch so they can look at things and look to see if lunch is coming. There. Good. There we go. I think that's awesome. So here we are. This is dragonflies and tules. You did a great job. Awesome.